Does that answer your question if you have one?
I think it did. Yeah.
Look, I got hair too, but Sunday was my haircut day. You know what? It's like really weird because every time I wear a hat, this little line shows up. Does that mean I'm balding?
It does. Yeah.
You know what that
Yeah.
means? It's like it's
It's
weird. It's only when I wear a hat though.
life is over now.
Welcome to the Digital Marketing Secrets Show with Carlos A. Vasquez, where we share actionable strategies and tactics to grow businesses, no matter what industry you're in. Now your host, Carlos A. Vasquez.
Well, I wanted to bring you on board today because I wanted to talk about the Facebook group thing, because my podcast is all about digital marketing secrets and different tips and tactics people could use to grow their businesses using digital. And, you run the Funnel Architects Facebook group, which I used to be an admin for, but now I got kicked out. So I no longer want to talk to you anymore. So
Yeah.
I don't know why we're even here. I guess
Well,
I have to keep the conversation going.
well, it's probably because you're trying to worm your way back into a position of power, which I understand completely. But I just couldn't be associated with somebody who is obviously now balding.
All right. Good comeback. And it laughed me. It laughed me. All right, man. So I prepared questions for you, which I think I sent it to you.
Probably
And
not.
if I didn't send it to you, I'm stuck because I don't remember saving it anywhere. So I'm just gonna go on the fly. We're just gonna
It's
go
okay.
do this. And I wanted to talk about how someone can start their own Facebook group and make it as big as you have. And I'd like for you to share everything you can so people could just copy all of your ideas so that way they can do it themselves, and that way they
Oh, okay.
and get all the original credit for it. So
Yes.
will you be willing to do? And then of course, I'm going to put you on my show so that way I don't have to come up with the content myself, and other people can hear this stuff. And I just kind of just skate off of your hard work. Is that cool?
That's a good plan.
Thanks, man. So first thing is first. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Who are you and what do you do, bro?
So, I do a lot of things, probably like a lot of entrepreneurs out there, but I build funnels, but more importantly than building them, I help folks plan the funnels, which is something I stole from you, I believe, way back when it all began. This is just coming around full circle.
I was drinking water when you said that. I almost choked on it. And now I remember, yeah, I showed you my Glyphy board.
It
And
was Glyphy, yeah.
you being the entrepreneur, Bill Gates, you Bill Gatesed me and I Steve Jobs did you, I guess.
Yeah, yep. I just made it fresher. That's all I did. No, so it goes back to, I think, 2015 when we connected. And I was in a not great space financially. I had just lost a job as a marketing director at a local family of medical practices, and I was home. I had moved into an apartment to try to save money to then go and find a good place to live because I had this fancy marketing director job, and I lost the job. So I was stuck. I was in a bad place, and I just remember in this tiny apartment, my family and my kids at the kitchen / dining room table, saying, what am I going to do? I had just dove into the world of funnels at that time, or, as far funnels as we know them, a series of pages where people can, opt in and be sold and upsold and downsold and cross-sell and all that kind of stuff. I was just getting into that, and I was making funnels for people, and I was talking to you. You were helping me out with some of the tech stuff at the time, learning the active campaign. I think I was working for ClickFunnels, at least for a few months at that time. And I just started a group about the importance of planning the funnels before you go and build them. Because that was part of my process in selling what it is that I was going to do for somebody was, look, here is the opt-in page, and then it goes to a sales page, and then it goes to this page, and we're going to have an email, and here's what's going to be inside each page. Hey, why don't you give me your images that you have and what you want it to say. Then I was creating this diagram and this plan, just as a way to say, hey, here's what I'm going to do. Do you want to give me money now so that I can do that? That's kind of how that's kind of how it began, and then it's changed a lot since then, of course.
Dude, I stumbled upon you because I was always building these maps, these blueprints on doing these things. And then I found a Google slide that had this really cool architect blue background, and it just looked fancy. I'm thinking, oh my God, I just stole somebody's awesome funnel like map system. And then I see this name. I'm like, I recognize that name. I don't know who it is. It turned out that you were the creator of this entire funnel blueprint thing. Like, you started a movement without even trying to start a movement, right? When it comes to these maps, right?
Yeah. So I had spent a long time creating a few of my own little icons, an icon for different types of pages and social media icons, and put it all. I had a couple iterations, but I think the first one might have been a Google Draw document. And I just laid out, I put this corny blueprint, grid style background on the back of it. I think I divided it up into a couple sections, like the attraction, engage, and sell sections. And you could move, slide those sections around. And then the icons were sort of outside the canvas in the gutter area on either side. And I spent a while just like creating these icons and putting it together, and use that as my lead magnet to start the group. So I would say, I think I made a little opt-in funnel and say, hey, if you want this, opt in. And then at the back end of that, it was, hey, you can go join the group where people are using this thing and creating diagrams. So that really helped in the beginning. And when I would post in other groups, ClickFunnels group, some other groups that I was in, hey, I have this thing for diagramming out blueprints. It got a lot of attention at first because there was no software out at the time that was specifically dedicated to diagramming your funnel or your marketing process. So it really got some attention in the beginning, and it really sort of kicked off the membership of the group. A lot of
like major, I don't know about major players, but a lot of people that have already generated millions of dollars teaching marketing were using your blueprint.
There were some, yeah.
They were actually using your blueprint because they would map out their strategy on your blueprint, and they never actually gave you credit for it because I guess you really didn't put yourself out there.
I didn't license it or anything like that. No, I was just kind of using it to attract people into the group. There was Scott Alford had asked me permission to use some of the imagery, but then I started seeing it pop up everywhere else too. But I was fine with that, and I explicitly said to folks, yeah, use this picture of your diagram, use it in your own marketing process or whatever it is that you're going to do. But opt in to get it or come into my group. And it took a few iterations from there. So it went from being a Google drawing document, however you say that, into being a Google slideshow was, I think, the second iteration of that. So it was the same thing. It was just done on a Google slide, but then it had the option of all these other slides underneath it. So you could click on the icon, turn it into a link. It would link down to an associated slide where you could then put in some more information about that thing. So if you clicked on the opt-in page icon in your top slide, it would link down and bring up a slide about that opt-in page where you could maybe put the copy there, the images there, the Facebook pixel, whatever it is that you needed to keep track of or put information there. And the idea being, you would use this for planning, and you would put everything there that actually needed to be there before handing it off to someone to build the funnels, so that they would actually have everything that they needed before they had to open up their software and start building, so that they could build quickly and save time, save money, save frustration. You and I worked together as subcontractors for an agency where you were building the funnels, emails, automations, pages, all that. And I was in there as sort of a client-facing project manager. And my job then was to use this thing that I had created to gather all this information and pass it over to you, so that you would have all the pieces in place, so that you could build and turn around in the time where you had promised. I think it was like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I without that plan, I don't even work. I don't even start working with a client. It's the most underrated component for building out a marketing system.
It truly
And
is.
no
matter what you use.
What was that?
No matter what you use to gather the information, you at least need it all somewhere. And I'm a very visual person. I think you are too. And a lot of people are, to have it visually, and then where you can zoom into one particular thing and get everything that you need. I think it's a big help.
I get people coming to me, hey, Carlos, I need a funnel. I need a sales funnel for this. I need a funnel for that. And now I say, okay, great. Send me your blueprint. Send me your funnel blueprint. And 9 times out of 10, I want to say, if it's possible, 99% of the time, someone will say, I don't have one. And I tell people, look, that's where we should begin. We should go ahead and have a session where we map out your strategy, so that way we know exactly what needs to get built out to include the funnel pages, the emails, the links, the pixels, everything. And then when people realize that there's a cost behind that, they're like, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't just, you can't just build my funnels. Like, no, I can't. It's kind of like trying to construct a building without a blueprint. You need someone to come up with a plan. The advantage you have with me is that not only am I the architect, but I'm also the contractor that construct the entire building and manage the entire marketing process. So that's where I leverage, and I have a good time, and I add so much value with it. So it's like that planning phase really is underrated, but when you try to build it without one, that's where you see you screw up really bad. So I mean,
especially if you're building for clients. If you're putting something together on your own, I guess you can jump in, you can wing it, you can enjoy the process. You can do the parts that you want to do, but if you're working for a client, it's really got to be to spec what they need. And even if they say they don't really care or they don't have an opinion about XYZ, they really do. And they will when you're done. So you may as well get it up front and get the plan solidified before you open everything up. I mean, I'm hoping more people will do what you have done and require the plan. And that's sort of become the mission, if there is one, to funnel architects, is that more people need to be doing this. It needs to be a required process by anybody who's offering marketing services, I think, in general. And that's a pretty broad category and statement, but it all needs to be planned out. It all has to be information gathered and centralized, and in a visual way if possible. And the visual way is just the cleanest, clearest way to communicate across, different teams, from agency to client, different cultures. Having that visual communication, I think, is very, very key. And as you said, just like with a real building, if there was no blueprint, there's not a builder who's going to touch it.
Right. I mean, I agree with you. The blueprint, and now with the way technology is, you can map it all out, share this file with everyone. Everyone knows everything that they're looking at. Plus, each component is hyperlinked to that deliverable, that page, the email, whatever the case is. So that way, when I deliver my projects, not only do I build it in their system, but the blueprint is basically the deliverable. Look, this is the deliverable. You can actually see the stuff by clicking on the links, and you don't have to worry about looking through this list of links. Plus, I delivered a list of links as well. It just adds more value so people can understand that there's some type of tangible asset that's digital, and that blueprint really serves it. So you get to really plan it all out, show people what it takes to build it, and when you deliver the project, everything is hyperlinked, ready to go. I used to do these things for free, and I actually started doing. I recently, I would say last year, I started charging for it, and the demand was there. And it started with Fiverr, really. Fiverr. I was building these strategies, these blueprints for people, and then I would get these people and they would see this complicated system in their eyes because they don't know anything about all the details behind it.
Mhm.
And then they're like, okay, cool. Carlos, can you build it for me? Which led to a sale. But
Yep.
then I went to go create a funnel gig in Fiverr, but it always ended up, I wanted to provide a 5-star service. I wanted to make sure everyone gave me great reviews. And the only way I was able to do that is to make sure that everything was on the table, to know exactly what they expected for me to deliver. So I'm thinking, okay, I have the funnel blueprint. Let me go ahead and see if this is a gig. So I charged $50 for it. And people were buying it. Like, it was too many people buying it. Okay,
That's
was a
great.
problem.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, there was. I remember that.
Then Fiverr was telling me, hey, since you're a Fiverr pro, you have to start your pricing at $100. I'm thinking, all right, sure. So I put it at $100, and still people were buying it because people were realizing that they didn't know how to start their funnel. And then I said, damn, I'm still getting too many sales, supply and demand. I need to go ahead and minimize these sales. I'm spending too much time working on these things. So I upped it to $150. Sure enough, people still bought it. So then I went ahead and I went, okay, now let me see if I cut down the time. For 30 minutes of my time, you get for $200, you get 30-minute session where we get to map out everything for you. And we basically do it for 30 minutes. And then people were still buying. I'm thinking, okay, this is actually a hot thing. It's just, they don't come to me for the plan. They come to me with the funnel. But when they realize that you can't go in the funnel without the plan, then they see the value. And then I made it a point to, in the session, not only map out the strategy, but give them a process on what the offers will be for each funnel component. Then I give them a list of all the softwares that I recommend to do it. And then there's extras. I can get the session recorded for video, and that's an extra. Get the audio recorded, that's an extra. If you want me to do a competitive analysis where I download all the keywords your competitor is using for their sales, these are all extras and it's all just because of the blueprinting planning session. And if I did it for free, which I did, people never saw the value. I don't know why. It's just human psychology. But when people pay, they are like, they think it's the best thing they ever purchased, and they know now they have a plan to actually get rocking and rolling. So I know that this session was supposed to start out about Facebook ads, but
Facebook groups.
Not Facebook groups, but it ended up becoming a blueprinting thing. Like, I mean, you made me realize I take it for granted. I do this every day, but I didn't realize that this is actually a big deal.
It's good because if people want to continue this conversation afterwards, they can go join the Facebook group, see what that's all about as well, because it is what the group is about. And I think going back to the blueprinting thing, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as when people pay, they actually put more value into it, or they pay attention because that's something they're invested to. And I started making that a big part of what I do as well. And I know you took the Fiverr route and kind of upped the pricing from there. For me, I was working with and consulting for Lead Pages and Drip. And they had asked me to do some diagrams and some planning for them. And at one time, this was years ago, they were going to actually offer a service to build some funnels. And they signed a few people on that had purchased the service already. And I think they sold it for somewhere around $7,000. And then they didn't want to do them. They changed directions or whatever. So since I was already talking to them and I was doing this kind of thing for them, they sort of handed those over to me. And I was like, okay, how much would I charge for, comparative to what they were going to build and what they're asking? And I knew what their price point was. I was like, can you really charge that much? Because up until then I was like $300, $500 for a funnel. And then, but my expertise was building and growing. So I thought, okay, well, I do this whole planning thing, and I know that Lead Pages isn't going to do any of that. They were just building whatever the client wanted, I guess. I didn't really look too deep into it, but I thought, okay, I have these 2 phases, which I got when I was working with you for that other agency that we were with. So they had broken it into, I think, 3 phases. So I said, okay, I have these 2 phases. I have a planning phase and we have a building phase. They're going to take about a month each, planning phase, building phase. And And I thought, okay, so you charged 7,000. Since I'm offering more value here, I'm just going to go ahead and bump it up a little bit to 8,000, and I'm going to break it up. I'm going to do month 1 is 4,000 for this planning, and month 2 will be about 4,000 for the building. So the planning actually included, though, more than you would expect in just the diagram, because it actually included page mock-ups. It included market research and consulting but just a bunch of things together, so that by the time, I mean, it really took them from they know nothing about their business at all to having a complete plan to market their business and generate leads and sales. So it was avatar research. It was all of that stuff. And so I completed all that for them in the planning phase. And then what I found too, same thing as what you found, is that plan, since they were invested in time and money, and everything that I gathered together for them as far as research, as far as copy, as far as design, made me the expert to call the decisions. I did the research, I did the planning, I did all that. So I was going to make the calls when it came to funnel building. Now, prior to doing all this, the client would always end up taking control of the project and wanting to approve or not approve or change the plan, because there's all these other marketers in their ear, right? You got Russell Brunson and 1,000 others that they've signed up for, especially if you made them go get ClickFunnels or something. So they're getting all these ideas. So they want to come, they want to say, well, I want to do this kind of funnel because I saw it and tons of people are doing it. And so they would always, interfere. But with the planning phase and all this commitment that they had financially and time-wise, and you being the one that had done it all, it flipped the client relationship back around to how it's meant to be, you being the expert, and allowed you to maintain control over the project through the building phase, which is another huge underrated benefit to what planning can do for you. Because so many people drop price, they lose out on their margin, they lose the project and mess it up completely, they lose clients and anger them completely, ruin their reputation completely because they weren't able to maintain control of the project. Then there's all kinds of finger pointing, but really you can maintain control of the project and keep that authority if you have this whole planning process in the beginning.
My clients, I agree with you. My clients, the people I've worked with, they think that they come to me because they have read, they've experienced, they've heard someone say, hey, I've heard this is great. I've read this is awesome. I've seen this person generate these type of results. I want to do the same exact thing. So they come in thinking that they are the expert. But when they come to me and I tell them, okay, great. Okay, send me the blueprint. That question always throws them off, and then it humbles them. It puts them in a position where, like, well, I didn't even think that far. And like, okay, well, that's where we need to start.
They think I'm not ready.
When you hit them with that wall, they realize, okay, you're not the expert because you haven't even done the most basic part. And it's not their fault, really. It's really not their fault. They've been sold on this success story that they can basically duplicate themselves, and they think that I don't need to do any thinking. I just got to go ahead and do that. And the expert will say, okay, cool, I'll do it. Send me the blueprint. Send me the Carfax, whatever. Just send it to me, and let's make the real decision here. And then when they see that, they slow their roll. They realize that they're not the expert, and then people appreciate someone putting them in their place. Because I've heard this over and over and again. If you feel like you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? And that's basically what we end up doing to them. Hey, you're not the smartest person in the room. If you were so good, you'd be doing it yourself. This is why you're coming to me. And that plan, that simple little thing just turned out to be the biggest reason why I closed more deals. And then when they see it, they get to see a visual and they're like, wow, this is exactly what I was missing. It literally is like that missing piece for them to build their stuff. Because the moment they start building a funnel, they clone a funnel. They're like, okay, now it's always, now what? How do I do this? How to do that? Well, because you didn't plan it all out. You didn't think it through. And now this is how we're going to make you the hero in your story. This is the piece you're missing, and I'm going to give it to you. That's it. And this is what I do every day. So, yeah, man. So then you stumbled upon the whole blueprinting process. You created your whole thing. Then you got some ideas on how basically you can monetize it for me. And then you actually started doing it for all these other businesses. And then, so what is your group specifically all about? What's the Facebook group covering? What are you doing in there?
So now there's a big focus on the blueprints themselves. Since the group has started in 2015, there has been released a number of different, what I would call blueprinting softwares. Each have their own, I guess, little special ability. But to me, the main components that your blueprinting software needs to have is not only to make a diagram, which you could use a whiteboard for, or Google Draw or anything else, but also to, like we said, collect information, keep it in an organized fashion, but also keep in mind that you're going to be building the project. So your blueprint is going to be used for project management. So I'm using one now, who is also now a client of mine, called Market Plan. And I know you're not using Market Plan. That's okay.
I have it because you know me, I'm addicted to
collect everything. Yeah. But this one actually allows you to create tasks. And since I can do that on the diagram, I can create a task for, the opt-in page. Hey, write copy and assign it to the copywriter. And then they can create a task. Hey, build page, and assign it to the page builder. Or you can do it in, sub phases of your building phase as well. Lots of different ways that you can roll that out. But I use it to not only have the blueprint, but I use that blueprint to manage the build project. There are softwares out there that will do some elements of that, maybe not task specifically, but allow you to hold some information there, or at least put links there that can link out to Google Documents or something like that, whatever it is you want to do. But yeah, what was the question again?
No, I just got mesmerized. I started getting more ideas about how to make a badass a funnel blueprinting software, and I know that Market Plan. I got Market Plan because I saw the vision, and besides, I'm addicted to lifetime deals, so it's whatever. Anyways, and one of the things that really captured my attention from marketplan.io, that's the name of the website, is that you have the ability to track performance of a campaign, like the actual conversion rates. You get to see how much traffic was sent to a page, and then
coming soon. Yeah.
So that was one thing I know a lot of the systems are lacking. And I know they're still trying to figure it out, but that was one thing that they mentioned that sold me. Because if I could just go ahead and open up a funnel blueprint that has all the links to each component, each asset, and not only that, but it has a link to the editing version of the page plus the published version of the page. It gives you two separate links. And then you get to look at the numbers and report. I was like, man, this is all I need. Like, I don't even need to open up 3 different softwares. I just open up all in one, and I can have a conversation with my client, letting them actually feel like I know what I'm talking about without having to stumble upon a bunch of different pieces of software. So I know it has a bunch of room to grow, but I saw a lot of promise in it. Like, now the lifetime deal I wish I got a lot more projects because it was just kind of pricey for me. I spent more than average. I spent like $250, and I think it was like 20 projects total. But those could be my active projects for my active clients. I don't have to always create for everyone inside of market. That's how I thought about using it. So,
they're my clients, so I just have the, unlimited number of projects. So it's an endless scrolling of my my personal projects and client projects that are in there. But when the tracking feature that you were talking about is, they're still finishing up. It'll be released soon. That's going to be big. But the other thing that it has in there is the ability to do projections, which is, you've set up your funnel. You can assume you're going to get a, specific number of traffic or amount of traffic. And if you can do that and you can put your products in there and the prices in there, it'll actually give you projections about, how much money you can expect to make, or, could you put your advertising budget in there, you can put your conversion rates in there, you could be as conservative as you want to, but that's a really good selling tool as well. When it comes time to sell into the next phase of building.
That's exciting. I mean, what I would like to see from Market Plan is maybe an unlimited section to create blueprints, but then another section for all those management things where that could be an active contract, like an active retainer client that you can convert it into a I don't know what the name would be, but basically a tracking client, someone that's worth tracking because they're paying you a retainer fee for it. I'm not going to keep every client like that because I'm not going to track all their stuff. But if there was a way to separate all my blueprinting from actual management clients, I think I'd use it every day for that, because I don't need everyone on Market Plan because I'm not going to manage all their campaigns like that. So Market Plan is very promising. I know that I started off with Glyphy. That was my tool. And I liked it because it was nice and easy to connect to things. And I downloaded a bunch of icons. I uploaded it. And it had the grid background, which I like that whole blueprinting thing. It's just so basic, that little stupid little background, but it was cool. And then I've upgraded to a different software called Real-Time Board. And Real-Time Board isn't a funnel software. However, do you remember funnel flows?
Yeah.
I downloaded and uploaded all those icons into it, and I had to create some custom icons. And Real-Time Board has been my favorite one, because you not only get to build the blueprints, but you get the ability to put the web address of the funnel page, and it'll
when it's done
it inside of the funnel page, like inside of the blueprint. So it's like you don't even need to go to the page itself if you don't want to. It's going to show you everything all at once. You can print it all out and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's one of the components that I loved from Real-Time Board. And Market Plan, I'm sold on it because of the reporting feature. So it's still room for everyone to grow. Maybe we could come up with our own freaking thing that, now that we're getting even more experience with everything that we're doing. But
it's a growing space. Like I said, new softwares come out all within the past couple of years. Market Plan's less than a year old. There's ways to do it yourself, like you said. So one of the biggest components of the group now is giving away these blueprints. So I'll create a diagram based on something I've seen or something I've done, or I'll interview somebody like this and talk about their funnel and what they've done, and then make a blueprint that can go with it. So a lot of times that can be just the diagram itself, but it could also include the pages and the emails of who it is that I'm interviewing. We did one for digital marketer that was available in there, where you can see the diagram of the there's Market Plan. Yeah. But we did one for digital marketer where you could actually see when you click on a page icon, the page that is live now, because we put the link in. And then you could click on an email icon and see the actual copy from the emails that they're using. So it gave you a good research piece to use as well, or a demonstration piece if you want to go and try to sell that kind of funnel or project to a new client.
Man, this one has Market Plan IO does have a lot of promise, man. It might be too powerful because of how in depth it goes, but I see it. I mean, I totally see it. You have the plan version. Oh, look at that. You know what? The plan version should be unlimited plans, and then lives should be the caps where you cap certain live ones.
Well, what it is, that's a toggle for turning off being able to see the conversion points there.
Right.
Whether you're putting it in plan mode plan mode would be seeing the projected conversion points. And then live would be the actual tracking once that's finished. And then you could just turn it off too if you want to clean it up a little bit and just get a look at the pages and icons.
This is so cool. It's so freaking I'm a geek, man. So I love, I've always loved this kind of stuff, man. Being able to kind of show that. And people love seeing this. Like, they love seeing the blueprinting. I have not met one person that has ever seen this. I'm lying. I think maybe one person. But I have not really met anybody that has not looked at their blueprint and said, man, this is exactly what I needed. Like, everyone has talked to me and says, this is exactly what I needed. I knew what I wanted to do in my head, but now that I see it on paper, I can see exactly, I can communicate it to my team and I can see it.
Yes.
So, all right. So you share a bunch of different blueprints in the group, in the Facebook group.
Yeah. So if we want to talk about keeping your group engaged, there's people with a lot more engagement than I have, and a lot bigger Facebook groups than I have, like way, way bigger. I haven't devoted all my time and energy to the group because I do some group stuff for clients like Market Plan as well. And I just haven't done it just to be upfront. I come and go. I'll go through phases of a few months where I'm getting a lot of engagement and new members, and then I'll just kind of duck out for a little bit and not say anything, and it goes a little quiet. But when I want to jump in and ramp up engagement, I do know how to do that. So and it's not magical or glorious or even automated yet, but if you can create a blueprint, well, I create blueprints. If you run your own Facebook group, you'll do whatever is going to work for you as the lead magnet, and just put up a post and ask if people want that lead magnet and have them comment below. This is the kind of thing that gets most engagement, and I try to use that technique to keep the engagement up and put one of those out maybe once a week. If I do it for a couple weeks in a row, I'll start not being able to actually keep up with how many people are requesting. There's just over 4,000 people in there now. So if I put one up, I can keep up with it. If I put another one up, I can still maintain and keep up with it. Once I get about 3 or 4 in, I'm struggling because the engagement is still going and more people are still seeing it.
Deals out.
Yeah, because you have to do it manually. You have to go into the comments, comment on their comment to keep up the engagement, and then actually click to message them and then send them a link to opt in or whatever. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of manual work.
It's a lot of work. No, for sure, man. And you know what? Although I agree that there are some groups that have massive people in it, but we got to put into perspective how many people actually care about planning funnels. I think you have the majority of
the audience.
Yeah, if ClickFunnels has an audience of over 100,000, these are people that have ClickFunnels. They have fun. They want to build a funnel for their business. But of those 100,000, only a small percentage are actually the smart ones that are planning it out or doing this as a business. So you have to put that into perspective. I think you have the biggest group out of all when it comes to planning out a proper funnel. So you can't sell yourself short on that one. Don't. I had to bring you back to reality, dog. You know what? Maybe you didn't know that. You just want to keep it humble, but you do have.
Well, it's okay too. And just recently, probably not for the last time, I'm remotivated to jump back in there and up the engagement and sort some things out. So I would always have. Over the years, there's been different things happening in the group, and then even outside of the group. Like I made a Facebook page just so I could get a Facebook group bot going, but I didn't really keep the page engaged. And then I messed it up and I did some gray hat stuff with my page to get a bunch of likes in, and I ran some ads to like third world countries and stuff like that. So yeah,
I remember that one. We both did that one. So
it's been a learning process. Yeah, it's been a learning
and now they
process.
don't do that. Now Facebook see that's the trick. Marketers, when we try to do something, we learn it and then we ruin it and we abuse it. We abuse it till we ruin it. And that strategy has been ruined because now Facebook will penalize you if you even add the words click like or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
right.
They'll penalize you and they'll put you at the bottom. They'll increase your pricing as far as your Facebook cost.
And there were courses that you had to actually pay for to get that piece of information, right?
Yep.
So and that's a bogus piece of information.
I hate it and I love it because I hate the fact that, damn, I just learned something new, and I love it because it weeds out the people that can't keep changing things up. So, yeah. All right, man. So I wanted to challenge you on something here because this is my rant, my rave. The word lead magnet, I think, has been ruined. I don't know if you ever seen my videos. Lead magnets are no longer those free things you give away, just like that. I call those a free irresistible offer because a lead magnet implies the person is ready to be a lead. Now, what is a lead? A lead is someone that has expressed interest in hiring you or buying something from you. So, and here's how I came up with this whole thing. Because I was a Marine Corps recruiter. And as a Marine Corps recruiter, when someone told me, hey, I have a lead for you, in my mind, I'm thinking, this is someone that probably wants to join the Marines. On the other hand, it was just someone that filled out a piece of paper because they wanted to get a shirt.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, this is not a lead.
An iPad or something.
This is not a lead. This is just a prospect. This is someone that potentially could be interested in talking to me, but these people are not ready to talk to me. So whenever we had this book, this entire folder, and in the folder it was basically every name of every high school student. The activity of cold calling, we called it prospecting. We were prospecting to find someone that could be interested in calling. So a lead magnet, in my opinion now, after going through my experience and marketers ruining everything, I realized a lead magnet should only be something that implies this person is considering hiring you or buying from you. So a lead magnet in my eyes is a pricing sheet, a calendar booking system, a contact me form, because these are people that are only going to sign this if they're actually considering talking to you for a sale. If they're downloading something, they don't care about talking to you right now. They just want to know how they can solve the problem themselves. So that's a free irresistible offer. They want to download it because it's irresistible. So that's where I'm disrupting the market unintentionally, because I'm tired of people telling me, hey, I got a lead for you. No, dude, you don't got a lead for me. You just got – it depends what it is. But it's like, hey, a lead is someone that wants to talk to me. You remember Glenn Ross? Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Okay. Glenn Ross is like the ultimate sales motivational movie. One of the most motivational, and the other one's Boiler Room. So anyway, and of course, The Wolf of Wall Street. So Glenn Ross, Alec Baldwin does this phenomenal scene where he's there to motivate all the sales guys. And
I've seen the scene.
Okay, but that's the scene I'm talking about. He comes with these pink little sheets, and then this one person says, "I've got the whatever leads, whatever." These were the ones that want to talk to someone to buy a property, but they don't want to waste these leads on people that can't close. So there was one person that says, well, the leads are garbage, because they're thinking in their heads, these people are supposed to be people that want to talk. No, it means that they weren't getting leads. They were getting prospects that just could potentially buy. So that's why the whole lead magnet, I think, has been ruined for now. And I'm just going to plant that seed. I'm probably going to mess you up with that one, but that's how I'm disrupting the market, because lead magnets are not what they used to be. Back then, you create this ebook and people give you an email address. And then when I would tell a client, hey, dude, I got you 100 leads, they're like, none of these are freaking leads. None of the people want to talk to me. Every time I call them, they just hang up the phone on me. I'm thinking, okay, maybe the word lead is very misleading, because
contacts.
These are contacts. These are just prospects. These are people that they fit the avatar, but they're not interested in your services. And no one wants to call someone to sell. They want to talk to someone to answer questions that they have about the sale. So that's how I'm changing it up a bit, man. And I think that your map was a free irresistible offer that people want to download because it was perfect, but they don't want to hire you. They don't want you to pitch them anything. Only when they're a lead, they want to be pitched. So, dude. All right. So then how can people reach out to you, bro?
Well, you can find the group, Funnel Architects Facebook group.
The only Funnel Architects group in Facebook. That's for sure. And
I'm working on finishing up the website. So maybe by the time you release this, it's going to take me a couple more days.
No, I'll release this episode probably by tomorrow.
By tomorrow? Okay, you'll be ahead of me. You'll be ahead of me, but it'll be funnelarchitects.pro. There is something on there now, but it's not what I want it to be. But that's coming out. That'll be another way to reach me and see the free blueprints, the premium blueprints, or to contact me for blueprinting services as well.
Gotcha, man. All right, my brother. Thank you so much, man. I'm going to upload this as soon as possible. I'll send it to you so you can pass it off to the group. And
all right.
I always appreciate hanging out with you, brah.
Yeah, it's been good.
You got it, man.
Years.
Thanks for listening to the Digital Marketing Secrets Show with Carlos A. Vasquez. Want to join the exclusive digital marketing community? Of course you do. Make sure to visit us at miamimarketer.com/growth for more info. See you soon.